Today, I want to open up your mind and I want to show you how using a line of credit can benefit you versus using a checking account like most of us have always done. And that's just because we've been programmed that way. We've really never been taught another way to flow or run our money. So today, I want to look at what this could possibly do for you, okay? And this is just the typical situation that we have, right? Most people work for an employer, W-2 position, okay? That employer directly deposits or hands you a physical check. I don't know how much that happens anymore today, but mostly it directly deposited into this checking account, into a bank, right, of your choice, and you have that deposited into the checking account. From that checking account, you pay all of your monthly obligations, right? All of the expenses that are going out, food, miscellaneous, any loans you might have, your mortgage payment, gas, utilities, phone, insurance, car insurance, subscriptions, whatever it might be, right? All of that flows out of the checking account. Now you can see this person makes $5,400 a month. After all of those expenses are paid, $4,900 is left. This is why most people feel paycheck to paycheck, because that $500, that's it, minus here, the cash flow, usually just disappears and they have no idea where it goes, right? No idea, not tracking it, don't really know where it goes. So what we want to do is we want to begin to flip this script and we want to begin to use the tools that the banks offer us for our benefit, okay? When I started to get this, it was just so mind-blowing, and I went from this scarcity mindset of feeling so much lack because we were using an envelope system, we were using cash only, and once we paid that cash out, guess what? We could never get it back in our hands. It was gone. I could not pay for something and then go back to, the bank and ask for that money back in the traditional sense, right? Once we paid the cash out, it's gone. It's gone. We can never get it back. When we began to implement this, it just felt so much more freeing, so much more abundant, because our money is flowing over and over again and allowing us to use it, sometimes the same dollar 2-3 times. It's very, very powerful. Okay. So in this situation here, this person gets paid, and instead of letting the money sit in the checking account, we're going to directly put that into the line of credit, which here is $15,000 at an 8% interest rate. Okay, $15,000. The first thing that they're going to do here is they're going to come over, take $10,000 out of this line of credit and pay off this loan that they had another 5 years to pay on at $400 a month. Okay, it's going to be gone in one fell swoop. And you're going to see this now becomes the checking account, okay? So their income it gets deposited into the checking account, but then immediately transferred into this line of credit. So this $10,000 balance now goes down to $4,600 once we put the income in. This is another game changer. If you're using a line of credit or a HELOC, right, you're no longer going to even have a monthly payment, because when you dump all of your income into the line of credit, that payment for the month is satisfied. And the longer you keep income in here working to pay down the balance, the least amount of simple interest, that's the other key here. These lines of credit are based on simple interest. That means they take your daily average balance and they use the formula, that's up here, okay, to figure out how much interest you're being charged on only what you have taken out, not the full amount, only what you pulled out of that line of credit. But once we dumped our income right in, we're only being charged for most of the month on $4,600. So we then use this line of credit to pay all of our expenses out of, okay? So that was $4,900, but we just paid off this, this loan here. So now the expenses coming out each and every month just went down $400 because we no longer owe that anymore. So now the balance on the line of credit is $9,100 in 1 month, $9,100. Okay, $9,100 in 1 month. Guys, just let this stuff sink in. You may need to watch this over and over again to begin to understand, because it's so contrary to anything that we have ever seen, right? So it took me a while to understand. I could see something's working, but really I'm going to tell you, like most things, when you begin to implement, you're going to start to understand it more, because I learned so much more through doing it than just sitting here and watching it. So just want to say that implementing this, you're going to understand it even more, okay? But You want to understand. Always, I believe so much in understanding and learning, and that knowledge is potential power if it's applied right. Okay, I'm gonna say this every time I kind of talk about this. This takes discipline. This takes strategy. This takes understanding, right? This is not for people who are just gonna go and use this to go rack up tons of debt. This is for the disciplined person. This is for the person who does know their budget and where things are going, and they know they have cash flow that can work for them, okay? So we go to month 2. So this is the balance now. We dump our income in. That takes the balance of the line of credit down to $37.53. We take all of our monthly expenses that we're paying out of the line of credit, and that takes the balance down to $82.53. Now, speaking of all the expenses, one key that we did when we got our first line of credit, it was attached to our credit union, and they gave us a credit card with that. As soon as we got the line of credit, they sent us a credit card with a pretty high balance, or high, that we could use. So we began to pay everything we could possibly pay: food, subscriptions, gas, utilities, phone, car insurance, loans, whatever we could, we put on a credit card, because now that kind of bought us another 30 days because that credit card payment's only due one time a month. So we know we're going to pay that whole credit card off each month with our expenses, that we're going to run through the line of credit. So whenever that credit card payment's due, we just take that and we just pay it right towards the credit card. Now our mortgage, what we did was we would just transfer that back into the checking account, that money back into the checking account, that $2,200 payment, and then that mortgage would come out of our checking account. So really, we were only doing like 2 to 3 transfers a month. We were letting most of our income sit in this line of credit. That's where the power is, because it's going to lower how much interest you're paying back to the bank, and then you're going to rapidly use that to pay down the line of credit. So after 2 months, then we go over to month 3. So our new balance is $82.53. Dump the income in there. That takes the balance on the line of credit to $28.35. Pay your expenses. Here's the new balance. Once this gets repeated another 3 months, y'all, 3 months, this $10,000 loan will have been paid off in 6 months. It was going to take 5 more years. 6 months. Y'all, I'm telling you, there's power in this. Begin to just get the flow down, begin to understand it. I am here to help, and I'm here to educate. I am an educator by day. I teach middle school students, and when I learn something that is powerful and life-changing, and I have seen it work, I cannot keep that to myself. It is something I said, you know what? I am going to expand my classroom beyond just my classroom walls of my daytime, and I'm going to go on YouTube, and I'm going to begin to share this information, because it is powerful. And when you begin to understand how you can flip this whole script and no longer just let your money go out, but use it and recycle it over and over again to help you pay down debt rapidly and help you free up more cash flow for you and your family, and for whatever giving you want to do, however you want to give back in your lifetime here, it's going to free up, leverage. It's going to free up money for you to be able to do that, to be generous, to be abundant, to be a giver. And I know that God loves a cheerful giver, right? When we feel that scarcity, when we feel trapped, it is not a fun way to live. But there is so much potential here, guys. As I've begun down this rabbit hole, I guess, of learning how to use lines of credit, it just keeps getting more expansive. And if you follow me along on this channel, I'm telling you, it's like those dolls that you just keep opening. There's more and more and more. That's how this has felt. It has felt so expansive, and things have just really opened up instead of feeling so closed in and that there's only one way to do something. There are many, many options, many ways to leverage tools for our benefit, and no longer just for the bank's benefit. So I'm glad you're here. Watch this again and again if you need to, and drop any questions you have. My team and I would be happy to answer them.